You're watching E.T.N. Share and subscribe.
Hey guys, welcome to Entertainment Talk Nation. This is Rob. This video, we're going to do our review for Game of Thrones, the 8th episode, and finally, a payoff. A payoff! We've been waiting for this all season, and in some ways it feels a little bit late, but you know what? It was such a fantastic moment on the show so far this season that I just forget about the build-up. Now, a lot of cool things happen in this episode. A lot of cool things. Now, first, we see Cersei sitting there, and she's in the cell. She's dirty. She's grimy. Her teeth are yellow. All right, she gets a visit from her old homeboy in the black cloak. That's what I'm calling him because he's not important enough for his name to remember. So, for me to remember his name, I should say. He is important, but just... There's just too many characters. I know some of you always get anal when I forget a name. I'm sorry. I'm bad with names, period, altogether. Either I butcher the name or I just don't remember. So, but he hasn't shown up enough for me to really get a grasp on his name. So, but he shows up. Many of you know who I'm talking about because obviously you saw the show. He shows up and looks very reluctant to give her some of the information she's seeking. Her son, obviously, is very distraught right now. His wife and his mother are both held captive. We knew this was coming. We knew this was coming. We knew from the moment that Lancel first encountered Cersei earlier this season and told her what he confessed. And once we started learning about the Sparrows and learning about what they believe in, we knew this was coming. To make matters worse, she screwed the Tyrells and in turn screwed herself. So, I mean, now, imagine if they find out that the king was born on incest. Her son is going to get lynched. So, but it's funny because there was a brief moment that I sat there and I actually felt for her. Really, really. It went away really quick, don't get me wrong. But when she's drinking the water off the concrete, like she's trying to suck it up, I'm like, wow, you talk about rock bottom. This woman went from seventh heaven running the show to now she's worth a shit. And she deserves it. She deserves it. She does. So, now, I want to talk immediately about what's going on in Marine because finally we see Tyrion Lannister and Daenerys Targaryen for the first time exchanging words. We're in season 5 for the first time. And it was great. Did anyone else get fired up when she looked at him and she said, I want you to advise me? I said, that's it, Dream Team. Lock, stock, and barrel. Match set, over. Just end the season right now. If these two put their heads together, if he gives her some of his knowledge and he advises her with his wit, his knowledge, his gift for gab, his political approach, his intelligence, she is just ripe to be developed. And she's already experienced enough on her own. So you take two very hungry people in terms of her wanting the throne and him, look, I'm sure he wants to get not only his family, but any other family not have a chance to be on that throne. That's going to be a dynamic duo. It's going to be a dynamic duo. Now, this is Game of Thrones. Things change like the weather. 1 minute, these two can be talking great. Yeah, let's do this, let's do that. You'll rule the world. I'll be your advisor. Next minute, she's going to she might be out to kill him or he might be out to kill her. But it was nice to see the exchange of dialogue, and then you can see that look in her face, that determination when she says to him, I want to break the wheel. She doesn't want to keep the wheel spinning. She doesn't want to stop it. She wants to break it. She might need a little bit more men. So, it's different when you go to King's Landing. And not only that, you think about it. If she was to storm King's Landing, even if she had her dragons, let's assume she had her dragons. That would give her a distinct advantage to an extent. You got to consider the amount of damage the dragons would do and how much of that she would have to rebuild. But let's pretend the dragons are not there. I would think that if she goes to King's Landing and tries to take the throne, the kingdoms are going to gang up on her because she's going to be looked upon as a foreigner, and she's a Targaryen. Nobody wants a Targaryen back on the throne. Well, some do, specifically her, because she obviously doesn't seem to have the same traits as her father. But that remains to be seen. we see Sansa, and I'm off, obviously I'm going back and forth here, but Sansa obviously, engaging Theon, or Reek, if you will, and confronting him about him snitching on her. And it was interesting, in his mindset, he felt he was saving her because he was trying to explain to her, look, there's no escape. You continue to try to escape, you're going to get harmed. That's essentially what he's trying to tell her. But Reek's mindset right now is under the control of Ramsay. He's very frightened of Ramsay. So, of course, he's going to think there's no escape. Sansa, on the other hand, is a Stark. And Sansa, while she's still very... She's not as innocent as she was a couple of seasons ago. She's become a little bit more bold, but she's not there yet. She's not there yet. But it's interesting to see now how this is going to turn out, knowing that her two brothers are still alive, which she didn't know before. So that is another interesting development. Winterfell is a very interesting place right now with the Boltons there and Sansa there and all the things happening, and Theon and Sansa seeing each other. It's some of the best stuff in my opinion in terms of dialogue and a little bit of emotion has happened in Winterfell. Sansa being raped, Sansa seeing Theon again, Sansa finding out her brothers are alive. So I really like a lot of the things that are happening in Winterfell, and also learning that Ramsay he's kind of like Joffrey, just to a whole higher level. I mean, there was a person who made a comment on my last week's video, and I want to thank you because this was a very good point. I want to bring it up. I forget your name now. I should have wrote it down. But anybody who goes to that comment, they'll see it. He made a very good point. The difference between Ramsay and Joffrey is that Ramsay is a bona fide fighter. He can rule, and he is just much more sadistic. But finally, the part I really want to talk about, and to be fair, I have to bring up some of the other points. I know I missed out on Arya, but that's something I want to delve into a little bit deeper, perhaps in the next review, depending on how much they show. But let's talk about the meat and potatoes of this episode. That ending, that 20-minute ending, when we start off at Castle Black, you see Sam, Gilly's patching him up. He's, feeling good. Busted his first nut ever in his life. Feeling confident. Little man comes in. Come in, man. Put my food on the table. But you can see the concern, the continued concern of some of the Night's Watchmen. Obviously, this little boy brings it up here, and of course, we all remember when the Fens and the Wildlings attacked his farm. They ate. The Fens ate his parents. He said as much. It's crazy because you can understand that. It's a very conflicted emotion because when you think about how many years these groups have been fighting each other and the blood that's been spilled throughout the last couple of seasons, and now to see that Jon is doing the right step, I still believe it's the right thing to do, and I think this episode proves that. And something, I don't know, there's something about that boy now that's just kind of rubbing me the wrong way. I don't know, he's got this look on his face, and I just don't want him to sneak up behind Jon Snow and hit him with an arrow. That's all I'm saying. But we go to the Wildlings camp, the huge camp, many of them still alive, and the conversation takes place. Look, Jon Snow is a very good leader. He's very good at vocalizing and reasoning why he's doing what he's doing, and he's very objective. It's not like he comes out and he says, this is what we need, and you need to do this. No, he's saying, look, we killed your men, you guys killed our men, this is this, that is that, but we're all going to die if we don't team up for the greater good and stop this zombie army. And when that army showed up, when I first saw that cloud coming down the mountain, I thought it was like a storm. I thought a storm was coming. I thought it was going to be, that was at first. And then as it got thicker, I said, oh shit, maybe this is an avalanche. They're in trouble. Winter's coming, right? When all those people's feet disappeared from the bottom of the gate, I was like, oh, those are Wight Walkers. Those are Wight Walkers. And it was just an epic, epic scene when Jon was fighting one of the leaders, one of the four, I'm going to call them the four horsemen, because there was four of them. And he's fighting one of them, and this guy's weapon is shattering any normal mortal weapon. And he picked up his sword, which we all know what it's made of. Not only did he stop his weapon, one strike took his ass down. So that tells us it's not just the dragon glass. Obviously, the Norse steel. That steel obviously has an effect on them. Now, I don't know if that means that the dragon glass works on the regular zombies and that steel has to work on the leaders. Whatever the case may be, they have the weapons and the resources to kill these things. The problem is the numbers. And we saw what happened at the end when the other leader raised his arms, and within, 5-10 minutes, all these people were dead? They all raised up and nearly almost tripled that army. And when you see the things they can do, jumping off of cliffs, this and that, it's going to be interesting. And this is episode 8. I'm glad this happened episode 8. This would have been great for a season finale, but I'm glad it happened sooner because now I'm expecting a little bit more, not necessarily the Wight Walkers, but a little bit more of a payoff to some of the other things we've been discussing. But anyway, guys, that's it for this review. This is Rob signing off for E.T.N, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Take it easy.
Thank you for watching E.T.N. Don't forget to comment, share, and subscribe. Join the nation's Facebook page to meet other subscribers or visit E.T.N's Facebook page and Twitter page. Links for all are in the description.